Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Jessie, and today I'm doing a new video series for you guys. We're gonna play some bookish bingo. I am reading until I get a bingo. So basically what I did was, I had this idea since last year, but I created a bingo board and I put different prompts on it. So instead of pulling like B6, I'm gonna just pull a prompt card, and then whatever that prompt is, I will read a book that correlates to that prompt. Once that book is read, I will put that prompt card on top of its place on the bingo board, and then I will read until I get a bingo. Here's a list of prompts. I have an indie published book, the Barnes & Noble 2024 Book of the Year, a book another booktuber is currently reading, a library pick, a book that fits this season, blind date with a book, starting a new series, a 5-star prediction, the lowest rated on my TBR, one of your guys' 5-star reads, so you will suggest a book to me. I have continues a series, a book from a little free library, our free space, a literary fiction, a book I've been pushing off, the highest rated on my TBR, an author I've never read, a young adult, rereading an old favorite, one that's in my Kindle library already, a book I've never heard anyone talk about, a book that matches the outfit that I'm currently wearing, a fantasy, released this month, and then we have a romance. The least amount of books that I could possibly read is 4. I have no idea what the highest amount is. I'm not going to do the math. I could probably easily Google it because I have a regular size bingo board, but I don't feel like doing that either. I could either read an easy amount, like a regular reading vlog, or we could be going for weeks, 2 months maybe with this video. This is an up close of it right here. We just got bookish bingo on the top and then all of my prompts right here. And then I did cut out little square cards that will go on top of here every time that I finish a prompt. The colors on this do not mean anything. I just picked 4 different colors and randomized it, so the colors don't go with a certain theme. But I have my cards right here. I put some washi tape on the back just so when I finish the prompt and I put it on its space, you guys can see which ones are covered. So we're gonna pick our first prompt, and then I'm gonna pick out a book and we'll start reading. I don't know where I'm gonna set this up. I guess I'll just put it right there. That's works for me. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna pick this one. What does it say? Really? I got a genre one from the beginning. My first prompt is just a straight up fantasy. This actually works really well because the next book that I want to read is a fantasy. God's Grave by J. Kristoff. I have my bookmark in here. I'm ready to go. This is the second book in the Nevernight trilogy. I wanted to finish this book by the end of 2024 and I was going to be mad at myself if I didn't. Clearly I didn't because it's 2025 now, and I'm not gonna get mad at myself because you know what? It's fine if I didn't get to a book when I wanted to get to it. I've talked about this series on my channel for so long. If you have watched my videos, you know what this is about. But this is about our main character, Mia. She's an assassin. Her family was wronged by these leaders. Her father got executed, and then they also had a lot of harm done to the rest of her family. So she is seeking revenge, and she's going to this school for assassins to train to become one of the best ones and be a part of this group of assassins called the Red Church. So she's trying to get back at the people who executed her father and wronged her family, and she's such an awesome female main character. I love how the story's going. It's a little disturbing, but it's a great fantasy world. The world building's fantastic. I love the writing, and there's just a lot going on, and I'm really excited about it. So yeah, it's pretty crazy, but this will be the first book. I'll pop in here every so often to give you updates on how I'm doing, how I'm feeling, and then this will kick off our bookish bingo. I hope you guys enjoy this video and this new series. I will see you at my first update. I am on page 165. I think it's like 421 pages, so I will definitely be reading this for quite another while. Guys, I'm kind of feeling iffy about this one. I love the first book, but I feel like the first 150 pages were a little repetitive. Not with the scenes, like we were getting somewhere, we were getting our backstory and what we have missed so far from the first one, but there was a lot of repetitive phrases, and I don't like repetition in books. It is picking up a little bit. After I had just finished this first part of the book, there's like 3 different parts. We are really getting somewhere. There's some juicy stuff happening, and I'm excited to see where it goes. This one is going to be very intense. The first one had a lot of disturbing scenes in it. There was a lot that was going on with our characters, and it's not for the faint of heart. This one definitely isn't for the faint of heart either. Your girl, Mia, is just, she's out here, she's taking everybody out. She does not care. So it's brutal. It's brutal out here, okay, Olivia? I don't have too many feelings for this right now. Well, okay, my biggest feeling is the fact that this font in here is so tiny, it's making me mad. I don't remember the font being this small in the first book, but I think since it's been a while since I've read the first one, and I haven't read something with font this small in a while, this is just shocking when I open it. I feel like I need a magnifying glass. I already can't see. I'm like reading this book this close to my face. I'm worried for myself, guys. I'm probably not going to give a lot of thoughts throughout this book just because it is the second book in a series and I don't want to give away anything. But there is a character from the first book that we ended up hating. I don't know where we're falling with her now. It's very confusing, very conflicting. Of course, like, I'm hoping she turns out fine, but with the way this book is going, I don't trust anybody. I don't trust a single person. I don't even trust our main character. I don't know how long this book is going to take me to read, but I do really want to try to get through this so I can move on to my next prompt just because I'm excited. I'm excited to do bookish bingo. I will update you probably when I'm almost done with the book. Maybe when I hit part 3, I'll just update you guys at each part. So I'll be back when I'm almost on page 300, and then I'll give you my final update. After that, bookish bingo, woo! Okay, I finished God's Grave. I was going to update every part, like I said, but once I got to part 3, I honestly just wanted to finish the book. I was more into the book at that point, so I didn't feel like I needed to update, because honestly I didn't really have strong feelings for the first 2 parts, and I don't know why. It did feel a little different than the first book, Nevernight, pacing wise, plot wise. Obviously we were going to the big moment that was happening that you find out in book 1 what that is, but it did feel slightly different. I still like this. I was having 3-star feelings most of the way through, but the ending really solidified it for me, and I brought it up to a 4-star. There was something that happened at the end of the first book that really did something to me, and I had my hopes throughout this whole entire book, and the ending of that one, like the ending, and let me just say that this ending was crazy. Book 3 is going to be an absolute chaotic mess in a good way. This one felt a lot slower, even though there was a lot going on, and I don't exactly know why. I can't pinpoint why it felt slower, and it also kind of seemed like there was a lot of the same thing happening over and over again. This one is filled with destruction of people. There's a lot of answers that we still need with our main character and what she is and what her sort of magic is, I guess you could say, because in the first book you know that she doesn't know a lot about it and she's trying to figure that out. So you're hoping that you get answers in the first book, but unfortunate things happen, and then throughout this book she's focused on something else. So book 3 we're definitely going to get a lot of the answers that I've been waiting for, so I'm really excited. There are footnotes in this. They were done so well in this one, and you can tell the author's humor in the footnotes as well. There was one, I forget what it said. Oh, it was this new creature that we got introduced to, and it was vile. In the footnote it was describing more of what this creature does and what happens to it and how it kills people. The last line of the footnote was like, what kind of whatever person would think of this thing? And obviously it's the author, he's like writing that for himself. So I thought that was funny. I like his humor in this and the little tidbits thrown in there. So that is God's Grave. That is our first book for Bookish Bingo. It definitely took me a while to read that book, which I knew it was because the first book took me a while to get through. I just can't do the font. It's so small. I'm almost done with that series, which is good. We will move on. I will go back and pick my second read, and then see where this prompt lies on our bingo board. I'm gonna jump right into the second book probably tonight. I really feel like reading, and I'm in that mood. He's just gonna chill here with us, guys. I started Daughter of the Pirate King by Trisha Levenseller. I've wanted to read this series for a while, and I never picked it up. I saw it in the bookstore all the time. They have like the hardcovers with the sprayed edges, which looks so beautiful, and I was planning on buying those, but I just never did. As time goes on, I get more hesitant about picking up YA, just because I feel like at a certain point YA is definitely not going to be for me anymore, and YA I can still enjoy some of them. A lot of the times now I can't really enjoy them as much, or there's not enough in there for me to cater to my reading taste. Anyway, I am 41% of the way through this book, and if you don't know what this is about, I don't really know what this is about either yet. There's not much. Basically just this 17-year-old girl who is the daughter of a pirate king, and she was on this ship. That ship got attacked. Well, she got taken off of another ship, so now she's on this new one, but it was all actually a plan by her and her father to get onto the ship because they're trying to find a piece to a map. There's 3 pieces and they all need to come together so they can find this treasure on this island. And I have wanted to read a pirate story for a really long time, but I do want more of an intense one. A lot of adventure, a lot of things happening that gets in their way. I want a lot of treasure hunting and whatnot, so I am still looking for that book. This one so far, this is a very, very fast read. It's super fast paced. I am about like 130 some pages into it, and I think it only took me about an hour and a half to read that. So there's definitely not a lot to this, and I can tell because of how fast I'm getting through it. And it is lacking in the adventure part. You know that our main character is on the ship and and she's trying to find this piece of the map, but you don't get any information on her trying to find this map. You don't get to spend scenes with her attempting to do this. It's all just scenes with these different crew members on this pirate ship that she is now on. So I do wish it had more of that treasure hunt aspect to it. I don't know if it will pick up in the future, but at this point I don't think I'm going to continue the series after this, just because it is lacking in a lot of detail. I'd say that it's a very snappy feeling. That's the best way that I think I could describe it. I don't know, I want more out of it, and I want it to slow down a little bit. At this point, I have a little under 2 hours left of Daughter of the Pirate King. I'm definitely going to finish it today, but I wanted to pick out my next prompt. I am about to leave the house, so just in case I get a prompt where I need to buy a book or there's one from like a little free library, I can stop and grab it on the way. Because some of these prompts, I don't have books on hand or in my Kindle that I can just pick up and read to fit a prompt. So I'm gonna probably start picking these earlier, about halfway through a book. That way I know what I'm expecting next. I'm gonna try to shuffle these up the best that I can. I think some of them are upside down, some are sideways. They're a mess right now. I want this one right here. Okay, this one is a book that fits the season. Okay, see, I have to buy this one because I know exactly what I'm going to do. I can't see my TBR card from here. I don't think I have anything on my TBR card that fits the season. It's currently winter. It's very snowy outside. I'll show you guys this close so you guys have proof that it is a book that fits the season. I think I want to do Beartown by Frederick Bachman. I really want to read another book by him. I read Anxious People, and there are so many people that I watch on here or that have talked about Beartown. I know that's probably going to be a 5-star read for me. Everybody that has talked about it has rated it 5 stars. I love his writing so much, and I want to read pretty much every book by him. I'm excited. I really wanted to read this book, so I'm glad I got this prompt. Alright, that is that. I will see you when I finish Daughter of the Pirate King, and then I'll see you when I'm starting Beartown. I have some updates for you guys. I have finally finished book 2. Well, not finally, I read it really fast, but book 2 is now complete. So, I read Daughter of the Pirate King. Unfortunately, I am going to give this book a 2 stars. I was hoping for something to redeem itself, but nothing really happened. I felt like it was a lot of the same over and over again. A lot of it seemed underdeveloped, and nothing about it made me believe that any of these characters were pirates. I think my biggest issue was the fact that there were just not really any descriptions of anything. Like, the world itself, I don't remember a single description on the world. And our main character, she was written to be this really tough girl who can just take out a bunch of men. She's very strong. That was told to us multiple times, but there weren't really any scenes where I could actually believe that. I will say this is very character driven. There doesn't really seem to be a plot, and that just didn't allow me to feel anything for this book or really feel like I was reading the story or in that world. But I am glad that I have read this because I was curious about it for a very long time. I was constantly wanting to pick it up. I never did. So now that I know, every time I go into the bookstore and I see these books, I don't have to question whether or not I'm gonna like it. I know how I feel about it now. So that is Daughter of the Pirate King. That is book 2. We are going to put our little prompt on our bingo board now. This is in my Kindle library. Okay, this one's over here. So that's doing us absolutely nothing. I wonder if I can hold this between my legs and put it on there. In my Kindle library, put some tape on there. Where'd it go? This one right here. Alright, so now we are moving on to a book that fits this season, which is Beartown by Frederick Bachman. I did order this book, and I was going to pick it up from the bookstore. They didn't have it, so I had to order it. This is about a small community called Beartown. There's an old ice rink down by this lake. I think we're following 3 young boys, maybe. They're on the junior hockey team. There's this big semifinal thing going on, and they actually have a chance at winning. It says, all the hopes and dreams of this place now rest on the shoulders of a handful of teenage boys. But then, under that heavy burden, the semifinal match becomes a catalyst for a violent act that will leave a young girl traumatized and a town in turmoil. This is a story about a town and a game, but even more about loyalty, commitment, and the responsibilities of friendship. The people we disappoint even though we love them, and the decisions we make every day that come to define us. I know that it's going to hit very hard. I'm so excited. I'm going to get my tabs. We're ready to go. This is the last book I will read for this episode of Bookish Bingo, and then my next book will be into a different video, so it's not too long. Around the halfway mark, I will pick our next prompt in our next book. So we're going to start this. I'm going to give you my thoughts and feelings along the way, and that is that. So I will see you guys on my first update. I look bad, I feel bad, I'm having a bad day. But I did want to update on Beartown because on the bright side, I am really liking it, which is not a surprise because I knew that I was going to like this book. I am halfway through this. I'm on page 223. right there. I'm really enjoying this. It's definitely a character-driven story. You don't necessarily know what the plot is. The first page, you get something that foreshadows what I'm assuming is going to happen eventually, and that's going to be the thing that tears the town apart. And so we're not really following a strict main character. I've only read Anxious People by him, but even in that novel, you get a lot of different point of views from all these characters that you are meeting throughout the story, and then it all ties together in the end, but you're not necessarily focusing on one main person. And this is the same way, and I actually really like how that's done. I think if you don't know that's his writing style, it can be a bit confusing in the beginning, or you might not like it because it might seem all over the place or a little boring, but I know he's going to tie it all together, and these characters are important. Every scene is important. So it definitely jumps around a lot. I love how he can truly bring a character to life. There's so many characters in this book, and every single one of them have their own personalities. And his writing is so good that when you're reading something, like, you get the character's name, but if the character's name wasn't even in that paragraph in their point of view, you would probably know who he's talking about anyway, just because of his writing and how fleshed out he makes his characters. And so at this point, I'm at kind of the issue where everything's going downhill and all these characters are going to experience something bad, or all these decisions are leading to something crazy that is going to happen that's not good, that's going to tear everyone apart. I'm very nervous to see what's going to happen. Frederick Bachman is able to bring you so many emotions with a few words. Just one short sentence really makes an impact. So I love his writing. I'm very happy with his book. I know that I'm in for a ride and probably a lot of tears, but I'm ready for it. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I do want to pick my next book, or my next prompt, so we can figure out what book we're going to read next, which will be the first book in the next video. Some of these are still all over the place and whack, but I'm just going to shuffle them again, even though they have already been shuffled multiple times. I'm trying to break them up too, because some of them, they're not sticking together, but they're the same size, so it's hard for them to come apart easily. I am really hoping that I don't have a prompt where I have to go somewhere and get a book, because it is like -8 degrees. And I don't feel like going to get a book. I can wait a little bit. I don't have to start it now. I might be having to do some online shopping depending on the prompt. Going to this one. That's sticking out the most. Okay. I'm trying to read it through the page. I don't know if it's this way. Is it this way or this way? Matches the outfit I'm currently wearing. Okay, well, I'm just wearing a blue hoodie and black sweatpants. I'm at my TBR car. I'm not gonna lie, I was hoping I would be wearing a cuter outfit for this if I got this prompt. But when you work from home and you don't go anywhere, then, you know. I am wearing all black underneath. This one's kind of got some green in it, but it is black and blue. This Dark Descent, Heavenly Bodies, but this one is more purple than blue. But if we're looking on camera, it kind of matches. And I really want to read this book. Or I have one of my January hopefuls, which is Ninth House. But I feel like this one's going to take me a while to get through. Oh, I hate having so many options to read, because what do I read? I think I'm going to go with Heavenly Bodies, just because it's dark, but it also has that blue tone to it. And if I hold it up to myself, it really just feels like it goes with everything. I've been wanting to read this for a while. This actually just got traditionally published, which I saw the cover in the bookstore and it looks beautiful, but I already have the indie version, so I'm not going to go out and buy a new copy. Unless I really like this book, then I do want to pick up the new copies just so I have them all matching eventually. I do have high hopes for this one. This is actually a 5-star prediction for me, but I feel like as time goes on, it might feel more of a 4-star. I'm going to pick Heavenly Bodies. This is going to be the first book I'm reading in part 2 of this video series. I'm not going to read what it's about right now. I'm going to finish Beartown and whatever, so I will talk about this more in the next video. Oliver, what are you reading currently? Probably the treat box, yeah. I have completed Beartown. I will say 2 main things. The first being that this is such an important story. It is such an important read. The topics discussed in this book are very heavy and very emotional, but they need to be read, and I think this is a very good representation of these topics. Second, I have seen a lot of women say that they refuse to read a book by a male author, but please do not do that with Frederick Bachman. I highly advise everybody to read his books. This is only my 2nd book by him, but the talent that he has with storytelling is so incredible, and I cannot even put it into words how amazing he is as an author. He was definitely made to do this, and I am so glad that he is doing what he is doing with writing stories. I don't want to touch on anything specific that happened in this book just because it is a spoiler and that's what the latter half of this book is about, but it is a heavy subject and can affect a lot of people. If you need to look up trigger warnings, definitely do. I'll also say, even if you read the synopsis of one of his books, like if you read the back of this and you're not interested in a hockey town or the small town type of thing where it's focused around a hockey team, you still should pick it up because it's so much more than what is on the back of the book. This is crafted so well. I said the same thing when I read Anxious People, but he is able to write these characters so deeply and intricately and give them so much personality, makes them all different, so you literally feel like you're reading about real people in a real town. But he's also so good at giving you enough information as the story goes on without telling you too much. It's hard to explain if you've never read one of his books. By the end of the book, you feel so satisfied with how everything comes together and how he wraps things up. This definitely is a 5-star read for me, and it's crazy because now so far, I've read 5 books this year, and I have had 3 5-star reads. I'm having a good year. I'm having a good reading year so far. I really like where things are going, and I'm liking what books I'm picking. Book that fits the season was that prompt. I'm gonna grab my bingo board. We're gonna put this on there and see where that fits in. Oh, so this is gonna go here. We have 2 in a row now. Well, we do have the free space as well lined up with the other prompt. I at least need to read 3 more books. I feel like this video series is gonna take me so long, but I love doing this. It's fun. So this is going in the top right corner. Sorry, not trying to get scandalous. So we have these 2 so far in this row, and then we have this one and then the free space. And then this also, I would only need 3 more diagonally. I mean, we're getting somewhere. Not very far at all, but it's going. It's going. Like I said earlier, the next prompt is matches the outfit I was currently wearing, which that was my boring blue hoodie, black sweatpants, and I just matched Heavenly Bodies with my hoodie. I will talk more about this in the next video and give you the synopsis. So if you're wanting to stick around seeing how long it takes me to get a bingo on my bingo board, then feel free to subscribe. But that is it for this video. I will catch you guys in episode 2. I hope you have a great day or great night wherever you are, and I'll see you later. Bye.